Is it on? I think it's on. So, I think it's on. Yeah, it's on. So.
Great start.
Hi guys, my name is Leo. I'm a friend of Pete's, and you're probably watching this on his channel, and because we just needed someone to host this video. And today I've got together some people of, who've been around MCM for some time and done various roles as organizer and whatnot, and we're going to discuss the new curfew at MCM Expo, and why it's going on, and that general sort of thing, the behaviour. So, would you guys like to introduce yourself?
Who's going first?
You are.
Yeah, it's your channel.
Oh, because it's on my channel. All right. Well, I do my usual, as everyone knows. Hey guys, YouTube, InuPete here with some friends. Sorry, it's how I start my videos.
It's
InuPete.
your channel. You don't have to apologise.
InuPete. Next.
My name's Liz. Some people will know me as B-Hacks, especially around the MCM Stuck London Tumblr, and I help organise the Homestuck meets at Expo. So there you go.
Hobbit guy.
So, I'm Toby. No one will know me, probably. I doubt anyone will. I mean, no one will know me.
Who is this guy?
Not the people don't hear. I just invaded.
You're a con goer. That's good enough.
I suppose I'm the voice of the people.
The voice of
Even though I'm
raisins.
not, but raisins.
And
I don't like raisins.
And seductive tone lady. Next.
I'm Elle. I'm sometimes known as Z. I cosplay as Miss Pauling. I largely deal with the TF2 meet. I don't do the pre-organising, but I do try to chivvy everyone into one place on the day.
Yeah, so we've got some
You're
organisers.
the person someone mistaked me for on Tumblr.
Hello.
Well, we have some people, organisers and whatnot. So I imagine they.
Shocking revelation.
Yeah. So I suppose the question is, what do we make of this whole curfew thing?
Actually, Leo, if I can just jump in, if this is okay. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
To make this better, who is for the curfew? Say me if you're for the curfew now.
Wait, sorry.
If you're not for the curfew, say me now.
Me.
Me, I suppose.
No one's for the curfew. Why would you want to be for the curfew?
Well, I said earlier, I'm not particularly against it, but I'm not particularly for it.
I think we can all agree it's a necessary evil.
I think it could be handled in a way better way, though.
It probably won't affect me, but some people are going to be restricted by it, and it won't help them.
How do you think this could be handled better?
In terms of actual discussion with the community ahead of time might have been useful to discuss what the problems are, how we could solve them, and how we could prevent it being a problem next time, instead of just outright booting everyone off without anyone having a chance to speak up first. I think that might have been quite a useful thing to do, to get a bit of dialogue going with the actual con attendees and the people that are out late, rather than straight up banning everyone without a chance for anyone to find alternative options.
Because I agree with that, because one of the things I said was, if they just ban them from the property of MCM, they're just going to move on to somewhere else.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, people are already looking for other pubs and different bits along the waterfront, and exactly where the venue's property ends, so they can sit just outside it.
It's not going to end the problem. They're just going to go back to the hotel rooms or whatever it is and just cause problems there. Yeah, okay, they then say that's up to the hotel to deal with, but that's then just going to make the hotels bump up the prices more.
It's not the right ethic to take if you just want to pass it off to someone else. It's your... Well, I suppose it's their problem, but they do have to handle it themselves. Because it's just going to... I think it's just going to cause two more problems, which is the people that don't cause trouble, they're just going to follow the curfew, and the people that do cause trouble, they're just going to go anyway and not give a damn.
Leo, what's your take on this?
I don't know. I kind of just want to put the questions to you. Liz,
what's your take on that?
What I said earlier is that mostly agree with Z that they should have opened a dialogue attendees, but the problem with that would be they'd get a lot of the kind of shit they're getting on the Facebook at the moment, where people won't, talk to them reasonably. They'll just whine and bitch and moan instead of actually trying to talk about it. I mean, there are a lot of intelligent people who can, like us, discuss and
give us too much credit.
Have a well, don't put yourself down here.
You give me too much credit.
You can have an intelligent conversation, but there's also a lot of people who can't, and I think that's would have been the issue if they did try and open a dialogue.
Yeah. This, I should probably have mentioned this at the start, but this probably will be like a 2 or 3 part thing, maybe, depending on the file size, if I can compress it well. So this is all up to Pete in that regard. Sorry, Pete. But I think... oh yeah, so questions. What would you guys say to anyone, if by any chance someone from MCM Expo happens to come across this? You know, anyone who can, because I'm sure someone like Granny Gertrude or the site admin will come across this. Maybe, I mean, because things usually travel faster within the MCM
My
community.
advice is listen to it, and you're more than welcome to post a reply as to your. As I say, I don't mind people looking at my videos, listening to stuff, and then saying, okay, I don't necessarily agree with this, but come across in a, you know, well-mannered state. Don't come across with you piece of shit, rah, 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 blah, you know. And if you ask me a question about something, I'll reply in an orderly fashion. I'll give the same courtesy back, sort of thing. If someone yells and shouts at me, they'll get a very sarcastic response, which they won't enjoy.
I think if anyone comes across it, I'm hoping that throughout the video and the chat we're having here, we're going to go through maybe a few solutions and a few options.
Yeah.
So I hope if the MCM people come across it, what they're going to do is they're going to listen and they're going to take away some of the actual solutions we're proposing that aren't just an outright ban on people hanging around after dark, and which aren't just complete and total condemnation of the entire cosplay community or whatever else, but which might help to get everyone on board and might help to solve some of the problems in a friendly way.
I want to stress to the people who are watching this that we're not trying to speak for the whole community. We're just trying to give our opinions, because I think that it's the minority opinion that this curfew is actually a good thing, obviously, because, you know, people don't want to be treated like kids, you know, want to be treated like adults. But we're not trying to speak for the whole community here. We're just giving our opinions on why we think this curfew perhaps is not the most prudent decision.
The issue with that, though, speaking about people not wanting to be treated like kids or wanting to be treated like adults, is that the people who do cause problems after dark, at the late hours, are kind of, you know, showing that, well, we can't even behave that way, so why should we behave that way?
Some of them are actually kids as well.
I do kind of sympathise with Expo, because they have to take some responsibility for what the guests can do. But I think maybe, you know, there are other solutions, and I think instead of being prudent about it, they've kind of gone around and just said, you know what, screw everyone, you know.
To be honest though, once the Expo closes, there's not much they can really do, because obviously the staff are employed to a certain time. Expo closes, the staff go home. There's not much the staff can do. I mean,
I'm sure there's always security.
If someone causes trouble late at night on Sunday, though, after the expo's closed, no one's able to get their wristband, so there's no penalty for the next day, and no one's able to get their contact details to ban them from further expos.
And
so,
Leo, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Leo, what you're saying about security, you're talking to a security guard here. When you go home as a security guard, you go home. Because anything you deal with, you are not paid for, you are not covered by, you are not insured by. So if you try to stop someone and they swing at you and hit you with a fist or a bottle and they mess you up, tough shit. You can't do anything about it because you're not working. So the security guards, if they're paid from 8 till 9, like, you know, rough sort of 8 till 9 or whatever, at 9 o'clock they stop, because that's what I do as a security guard. As soon as it hits, or bang, that's it. You're not working anymore. All right, anything that happens, I'm not involved with because I'm not covered.
Somebody else's problem field is immediately in effect.
Well,
it might seem bad, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to get into
it's perfectly sensible.
Yeah,
you don't want to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a fight where if I deck the guy and I win, he can then sue me for hitting him, and he will win because I wasn't working. Whereas if I deck someone while I'm working that attacks me, they'll basically look at the guy and go, well, he was a security guard. You swung through me at you first. What do you want us to do about it? So that's why security guards will not... they'll only do where they're told to patrol, how big the venue is, and they can only go up to those certain points, because there's so many rules in the security guard. People think you're a big guy with a badge, you go around, you hit people. It's not. It's really, really not.
In most cases, I find security guards are seriously limited in what they're allowed to do at all.
Oh God, yes.
The question?
No one can expect security guards to be the total power here. They
Yeah.
can't solve our problems for us.
I think the question remains: what is a better solution?
I think, frankly, it might be nice if the con-goers themselves stepped up to take a little bit of responsibility. If we could get maybe a dozen people together to just have bin bags and do a quick sweep, say 11 o'clock on Sunday, those of us that are highly nocturnal, and just pick up the litter. That would do outside, that would give us the bin bags. It would be also quite nice if the venue provided more bins, because they were starting to overflow quite badly on the Sunday.
Yes.
But they actually weren't, because I went round about 4 o'clock in the morning, and one bin was half full, the rest were more or less empty, and there was rubbish everywhere. So
whenever I was there on Sunday, they looked quite full to me.
They might have emptied them. This is the thing: is
they may have done.
Them, but it's the fact of, even if the bins are full, put it by the bins, put it under the bin, wheelie bin, put it under the bins, whatever. Because when they go to move the bin, they'll see there's rubbish there. If the bin is full, then they'll understand. All right, okay, bin was full. They put it under or next to it. You know, it's the next best thing. But it's the thing that I see. I see people, they go into the venue, they buy something, they come out, they take it out the wrapper, take it out the packaging, and then throw it on the ground. And it's like, there's a bin 2 foot, 4 foot away from you. It's not going to kill you to walk over there and put your rubbish in it.
Which is why I suggest that we have some people from our end of things, the attendee end of things, even just like a dozen volunteers with some litter pickers and bin bags at the end of Sunday, just to keep things nice so that no one refuses to let us back again.
Friend of mine, Andy Scattergood, people know him as the Doctor or as Abby, he is going there with bin bags, and he said he's going to go around cleaning up, and if anyone wants to join him and bring bin bags and help...
It's funny you say that, because we have someone in the Homestuck meet who's actually doing that very same thing, aren't we?
Being one of the many organisers of the Homestuck meet, before May Expo, we were very adamant that if you make a mess, clean it up, because we have a bad reputation as a fandom, I'm not going to lie. We have a pretty bad reputation. And our one of our other organisers, Chantel Potter, who's also known as Elastic Poodle on Tumblr, she actually, on Friday, there was a mini meetup at N9 inside the building. She stayed behind and cleaned up after everybody, after they'd all left, because she knew they weren't going to do it, so she did it. And on Saturday and Sunday, we were like, if you make a mess, there's a bin right over there, we'll, clean it up. But the problem with that ended up being that our meet was in the corner of the field, and the whole field ended up trashed anyway, and we were just like, well...
I think some responsibility also falls to MCM here. Don't get me wrong, I think a lot of responsibility falls to the organisers. But I really, and I know people will disagree, but I really don't think there are enough bins. I mean, to my recollection, I really don't recall that many bins in the field area. And having the stage on the field area, in my opinion, was just a recipe for litter.
I think they should have expected a certain level of mess after deciding to put the stage there. But at the same time, there is no excuse for how that field looked at the end of Sunday. There is no excuse.
Yeah, I mean, my room in the Novotel was looking over it, and I saw it. It was just looking down at it. It's like some funky modern art or something.
The thing I'll say with the bins, I look at it like this. Expo look at it as no one throws their bloody trash away. Why get 700 bins? Why get like 20 bins and get 4 when no one's going to bother throwing it in the bin anyway?
Except
because no one does.
If they were everywhere, though, it would be a lot easier.
Yeah, but if there's bins everywhere, you can't walk anywhere. You've gone to
not everywhere, but if they are about and abundant and obvious to the eye.
At the main entrance, there was 5 of them, and there's no excuse. I mean, they don't put them round. They put them near each other, just near around the bottom of the steps. Now, some people could argue and say, "Oh, well, they should have one by the by the green where they had the stage." My reply to that is, don't be a lazy bastard, get up and walk to the bin.
That is
it
true,
might still be a good idea
to
have some more bins spread more widely around rather than concentrated in just the one area.
But the thing is, Saturday, I was walking barefoot with a massive mask on my head, and any rubbish that I got, I walked over to a bin and threw it in there. So I'm barefoot with a mask on, can barely see. I managed to find a bin, I managed to throw my rubbish away. Anyone can do it. It's just get off your arse and walk.
It'd be nice if there's someone from MCM sitting listening to this with a pen and paper, just going, "Yeah, these people got to write down."
The grass where they've got the stage, there's not many places you can put the bin. You can't put one on the left-hand side where the water is because you are blocking the pathway, and you can't put one on the right-hand side because there's 2 pathways where people go up and down.
Yeah.
So if you put a bin on that pathway, you're blocking it. You can't put a bin behind it because people stand there and do photo shoots. If they put a bin anywhere around that green, someone will complain the bin's in the way. And if it's on wheels, someone's going to move it.
I've got to mention,
seriously. Don't put a big industrial-sized bin. Just put a normal litter bin around the area because there could be more normal-sized.
That will get filled up in seconds.
Yeah, I've got to mention really that litter is definitely not exclusive to night. I think a lot of reason for this curfew that I've seen on the MCM Expo forums and their Facebook, I've seen a lot of people saying it's about the litter as well. The litter is mainly done and dropped during the day. Because
to be honest, is more about the behaviour at night.
Yeah,
it's about
but the litter. It's just that I've heard the litter as a reason too. But I just want to say, litter is what you see at the end of the day. May be associated with the people who are there at night because it's the end result of the whole day's worth of Expo, dumping their pocky and their ramen bottles on the floor.
I do think the litter is more to do with the what goes on in the day. It definitely was so for the stage, and Jesus Christ, I left on Monday morning. I left Expo on Monday morning, and I couldn't believe that field was actually spotless when I left.
I couldn't.
The cleaners do an amazing job. They really do. But
so if any of them are listening, I want to give them a thanks.
Leo, one of the things you said a little while ago before we did this recording, that someone said was that you said something about someone said, "Oh, I'm going to make the cleaners work for their money."
Yeah, I saw a comment on TonioTimes.com. I think it is. Is it that? I think it's that. It's Pete. Pete made a video with that guy and but I saw a comment on there that said that the hubris of these people, man. It's just like this guy this guy who left the comment. He put his name as anonymous. So anonymous wrote, and I'm reading this word for word. I pay a lot of money to come to Expo in hotel, travel, and ticket prices. Who are these people to claim that I can't litter if I damn well please? I will make the cleaners earn every penny of their minimum wage.
And it's people like that are
it's
putting
hubris.
the cost up.
There are people who are always, without fail, no matter what you do, no matter how you try to reason with them, bastards.
I think he was controlling.
Our best bet is to try and minimise the bastards because we'll never be able to eliminate them entirely. We can wish, but...
Maybe, I just thought of this, but maybe it'd be a better idea to start, maybe ban alcohol on site if that's what most people...
The problem with that is that
people will smuggle it.
The bar is right there.
People will smuggle it.
Let's go up the road, there's a nicer up the road, there's a Fox bar right on site.
We need to think of some solutions, because I just don't think the curfew
make an alcohol area then.
We can go. You can ruin Expo in one part of Expo.
No. You can't. It's not. If you try to segregate one place as a drinking area, it's not going to work.
No, because no one will drink there.
And no one's going to. Yeah, no. Or some people will, but some people won't listen to you. The other thing that they complain about is the statue. People climb on the statue. Now, a lot of people saying, a lot of people saying, "Oh, that was people drinking at night." No, during the day there were people climbing on that statue.
I don't mind people standing by the statue for photos. Actually,
standing is fine, but there are people that climb onto it and they damage that statue. But
isn't that why the top of it's like bent? Because there's a wire on it.
Yeah, there was a Spider-Man, wasn't there?
There was a Spider-Man dangling from. I get why he was up there.
At least Spider-Man did it.
And there was a Spider-Man up there. And I get for the shoot, I get it, but at the same time, that statue is not for climbing. And when that statue gets damaged,
I think
they have to repair that statue.
Yeah, what's that statue in commemorating anyway? Isn't it the hard workers of the Docklands? I believe.
Something like that. Because
I wouldn't put it past that. But that's so disrespectful.
But the thing is, a lot of things that people complain about, a lot of things that I saw with people complaining was saying that it's the night people causing all this damage. It's the night people. It's not. It's as you say. It's the daytime people during. Yeah. But where people, they see the daytime. Everyone's running about. They're happy. They're nice to each other. And then at night time, it's drinking, smashing bottles, and people just automatically assume that the people at the night caused all that mess and all that damage. No, they didn't.
It's just that in the bigger bustle of the day, it's easier to be hidden.
They add to it. I will admit, I've seen people at night on the statue. I'm not saying it's just the day people. It's the night people as well. But it's the fact that the day people are saying, we don't do this. It's night people. Well, you might not do it, but the people in the day are doing it. The night people add. They will add to the mess that's there. I'm not denying that. They will add to the mess. They smash bottles. I think that's wrong. I saw a guy on Saturday when I was barefoot. This is literally very early in the morning. Probably about, what did I say early? Probably about 11ish, roughly. Yeah, sitting down drinking. He knocked his bottle backwards accidentally. It fell on the floor behind him and smashed. And his reaction to it, he shrugged his shoulders and left it. Now, I was walking. I was a little bit far from him, but I was walking barefoot. And I was like, all it's got to take is for someone to step on. And I'm like, why is this guy drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning?
Some people just don't have lives.
But
That's the thing. You've got to know your limits.
It's like, you've dropped a bottle. Pick it the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's more. I think it may just be the attitude, really. I'm sure people don't smash bottles and leave them for the sake, they want to go hurt people. I don't think anyone's that sadistic. I think it's just
basically.
I think a lot of it's actually the same thing as the people that walk their dogs and don't bother to clean up after.
Yeah, they're lazy.
Because as soon as it's on the ground, it's not their problem anymore. It's the problem of the magical ground-keeping fairies.
Yeah. And I think I'm not going to make like a Nostradamus prediction, but I just will predict what I honestly think. I think what will happen is, there will be something bad. There will be an injury at some point, and they will just have more draconian.
There have been in the past. Someone sliced their foot open once. No, someone was cosplaying barefoot. They run and sliced their foot open. An ambulance come and picked them up. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
they sliced their foot open. They got an ambulance to come pick them up.
I mean, we didn't really have anyone to blame for this other than the con goers, really. Maybe not us specifically, but I'm talking about our group. It's not cosplayers or anything. It is, well, obviously it is cosplayers, but it's not. I'm talking about not specifically them. I'm saying it is them and it is us.
Everyone that goes to the con.
Yes, I've worded it wrong. Everyone who goes to the con.
There you go. All the attendees.
Yeah, I just said not specifically them.
It is our responsibility, because I don't think that, if people were more, considerate and better behaved at night and during the day, then they wouldn't have to come in and say, we're going to have more security, we're going to have more, we're going to have a curfew. They wouldn't have to put that in, but they've obviously had to do it because things are getting bad now. Yeah, because
the thing that makes me laugh, though, is all these people are complaining about it. But the funny thing is, that some of the people that are complaining
are the ones that are causing it.
Not all. Some of the people that are complaining, saying about the prices going up and all this stuff, some of those people are the people that are causing the mess, causing all the stuff in the hotel room, and this is why the prices are going up and up and up. If we start clearing up after ourselves, the cleaners will still come round. The cleaners are contracted to come round, yeah? But the cleaners will be like, okay, there's maybe
an hour's work,
one
bag, 5 hours.
One bag of black, one bin bag, yeah? One big black bin bag that we had to pick up. All the rest is in the bins. Okay, we got that done really quickly, so we take our not minimum wage, but our minimum payment off you. I can guarantee you those cleaners are not on minimum wage. Right. We take our minimum payment off you. They've just saved some money. By them saving money, they'll lower the tickets. Yeah. Also,
they're not going to lower the ticket prices because ticket prices are never lowered, but the ticket prices might stay flat instead of rising.
We are at the halfway point, so as the pseudo moderator, I just want to change. I think we've covered litter very well. But I think we should talk about behaviour now.
I'll be right back, guys. So I've got a phone call I've got to take. Hold on,
we should probably talk about unruly behaviour, because that's.
The behaviour is why I think the list is part of it, but the behaviour is mostly why they'll be having the curfew now. I mean, I was saying to you earlier that in 2012, when I went in May, things were getting pretty bad. The staff were out there keeping an eye on it, and they warned people continuously, stop behaving in this manner. It's an indecent manner to behave, because they were actually having lap dances. People were completely drunk, losing their clothes. There were people smoking drugs out there, and the staff were out there. They were keeping an eye on it. They were telling people to, tone it down. But
why isn't someone allowed to smoke tobacco outside?
Tobacco. Sorry, they were smoking.
That is a drug, isn't it?
What? Tobacco.
You said drugs.
Yeah,
I believe in context, illicit drugs is to be assumed here.
All right, I thought you were talking about all drugs.
There were people smoking some proper rank weed out there, And they did have staff out there keeping an eye on it and telling people, tone it down, stop, having sex outside on the statue, for God's sake. Eventually they had to get the police involved because no one was listening, and they just carried on doing what they were doing. So it is a
I think
behaviour.
all they need is a fire hose.
Yeah, that's pretty effective, as we've seen.
Just
Sorry, Z.
Hey guys, stop it. We'll turn the hose on you. I mean, there's a phrase about turning the hose on people.
Not the cosplay, we get all wet.
Well, that's their fault for giving out lap dances.
Yeah, they get wet anyway.
Sorry, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to...
Excuse me, the childish humour.
God damn it, man.
I know we're changing from the whole thing of the rubbish. Can I quickly just put something across with this?
Yeah.
It's like I say, obviously, people are going out bin bagging and whatnot. I mean, I will try and do what I can, but the thing is, without trying to sound horrible, like I like to have the fact of I've got a hotel room with my friends. I like to sit in my room with my friends, have a drink, have a bit of a laugh. I don't necessarily want to have to go out picking up someone else's rubbish, but like I say, depending on what's going on, I might be out there, I might not be. Hence why I'm saying it might sound horrible, because I like to just literally chill out, because sometimes my cosplays really wear me out. I'm absolutely knackered at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and I want to sit down and just drink with my friends. And
I know how that
I
feels.
don't think anyone's suggesting that you should be obliged to do the cleaning up after anyone else, but out of the tens of thousands of people that come to Expo, it should be possible to sort of get like a dozen volunteers who aren't
the thing is though,
tired
most people
at the end of the day.
Yeah, the thing is though, most people who come to Expo don't care. They're not actively involved in
Well, as I
the
was saying, that the thing I put, the video I made on YouTube, as I was saying, everyone should make a video, even if it's only a couple of seconds long, saying pick up your litter.
Well, this is sort of
And
my
just
contribution.
Just circulate all their videos. I wasn't saying my one. I said, don't worry about my one. Everyone should make their own video, literally 10 seconds long, couple seconds long, just saying, everyone that goes to Expo, put your litter in a bin. Literally, that's the video. Get everyone else to make them and
I
send
think people
them
are
around
lazy.
Facebook,
Lazy to
YouTube,
make videos.
whatever, because it will get the message out there.
Yeah, I think.
Essentially.
But most people who do come to the con don't actually involve themselves in the community. They don't go on the forums, don't know anything. They've just heard it from a friend. They just go, so.
Yeah, but if they've heard it from a friend, if they've got a YouTube account and they make that on they make it on YouTube, post it on Facebook, and get their friends to post it around. Because if I post something on Facebook and I get a few friends say, guys, you've got your own websites and stuff, could you please link this onto your website?
Well, what about Saturday?
Decent, they will post it around, and other people that don't know me will watch the video. And
what about Saturday though? That's when we have loads of people who are just there for the day. They couldn't give a shit less about what happens at night. They're gone by about what? Five-ish? Five, yeah, about five-ish. So, but we get painted with that brush as well. But obviously we can't.
Yeah, I get the whole fact of you shouldn't tar everyone with the same brush.
I think this whole curfew thing, I think it wasn't a prudent decision. I think it was made very much by Expo to sort of cover their tracks from any potential.
I think it was probably actually also made with discussions with Excel, because you have to think the people who actually run the centre can't be too pleased with what happened this year.
They're not.
No, of course not. I mean, I totally understand they don't want rubbish and crap all over the place, but I just don't think we should. I mean, why can't I, want to sit outside, it's under rain, you're chatting with some friends, because I don't see these friends for ages, keep in mind, like twice a year, thanks to Expo. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind going back to my hotel having a drink, but I just don't want to be treated like a kid. I mean, but I think there's another solution. I mean, should we start talking about potential solutions? I know, I thought Graves had.
I'll say without sounding horrible, Leo, no offence.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
won't say people's ages, because it's not my right, but some people that are doing this are kids.
What some of
What
it
age do you
might
consider
be
kid, though?
that I'm slightly prone to suspect is that a lot of people, especially those that are in their sort of mid to late teens, this is going to be their first major trip away from home, no family, no teachers. It's not a school trip, it's not a family holiday. They have got no guidance, they've got no supervision,
It's the fact
and that
of,
prompts them to go, ooh, I saw on television and in films and from my idiot mate at school that you go wild when you don't have supervision. Therefore, I will do what I think I'm meant to do. And act like a twat.
Adult to me is 18, but that is still that's a young adult to me.
Yeah.
But you're still young. See, my friends, I mean, I've lived without my parents for a while. Nothing bad, just, they did. My mum moved out. My mum moved out with a partner. I had a place that I shared but now I've got my own place. So, like I say, nothing bad with parents or anything, just how it happened. But my friends used to come around, and because there was no parents there, they did take the piss.
Yeah.
However,
because people need that independence, but they go wild with it because they don't have the experience.
Because it was my place, it was drilled into them that there were still rules and regulations. Because some of my friends used to come around and say, "Oh, I like coming to yours because there's no rules here, because there's no parents." I was like, "There's no parents, but there's rules." I was like, I was like, any rubbish you throw in the bin, any plates, cutlery, drink, like cups you use, you put in the sink. I'll wash it up, but you put it in the sink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the whole, and there was rules of like music being played, how loud you can be, and all this stuff. And like, some of my friends were like, "Oh, coming around yours just like having parents." I was like, "Yeah, but it's the fact of I have neighbours. You put my music on full blast, it's unfair to them. I get on with my neighbours. We talk. The last thing I want is you guys doing that." But as I going with that, this is what I see is as Z was saying, they go there, they're very young, there's no parents there, and they're like, as you say, I can go wild here. Which in a sense, yes you can, but at the same time, no matter where you go, there are always rules.
You should still be civilized because you are a human and you are not a bonobo ape.
It does come back round to like the hotels, because every year the hotels hike their prices up because their rooms get trashed. What you've got to drill into people's heads is that even in a hotel, you have to behave in a way that is civilized and don't leave that. You treat that room like it's
like
your own.
You're a guest.
Like it's your grandmother's room, not like it's your parents. Because your parents might team up.
I wouldn't sleep in my grandmother's room.
I mean, you're a guest in somebody else's house. Okay, you've paid to be a guest, and they do have cleaners, but they're not there to, fix a trash.
They're not there to wipe your ass.
Yeah, we're running out of time here, guys. But there's something else I remember seeing in chat from Z you posted. You said you live nearby.
I do, yes.
Yes,
I live
and you were saying
on
sometimes, occasionally we get locals come in, because I know we had like a stag, some guys on the stag night or something like that.
Oh no, they were military people. They were. Oh, yeah. I almost hit one of them.
Because yeah. Let's not say anything incriminating, but
I'm in a few different subcultures. I'm in the geek subculture. I'm in the goth subculture. I'm in the kink subculture, and with every kind of subculture, you get what you call tourists. People who don't know it, who aren't familiar with it, who just see it from the outside and who think it's a cartoon and that they can come in and act stupidly. And as a result, they can make that subculture itself more unwelcoming because they do stupid stuff and the subculture gets blamed. But they can, but they are also, they're not part of it. They're an outside force which comes in briefly, wanders off again, but leaves a bit of a mess behind.
I think they're also some of the most unruly, I must say. I don't know if you guys saw last time, we had a bunch of what could have been 5 hoodie kids come around evening until night, rather, I think it was. I don't know if you guys saw, but they were just being little shits. I mean, they were knocking over bottles. I saw one, I'm surprised I haven't mentioned this yet, I saw one reach into a bin and smash a bottle next to it.
That actually ties into me living quite nearby. Where I live, we've got a big rack of those Boris bikes, the hire bikes for people outside London. And every weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, we have an antisocial behaviour team down, because if there's not an antisocial behaviour team, the local teenagers will wreck up the Boris bikes. It doesn't take there being a convention in town. It doesn't take there being a bunch of metalheads in the park. All it takes is the normal teenagers that live in the area. And I can't imagine that 10 minutes up the road is going to be that different to where I am.
Especially not for a
nice neighbourhood.
A big expo as well, with everyone messing around. It's just candy to them.
Just teens, they used to smash it up. And the excuse they used to give is, there's nothing for us to do. It's like, excuse me, when I was young, we didn't have the internet. Because as I say, I'm the oldest. I'm 30 this year. I didn't have the internet. We didn't have mobile phones. We used to sit indoors and play games. We went out and played football with each other. It's
we went round to mates' houses.
Yeah,
we went round to your mate's house and hung about there.
Just fiddle with your Johnny.
They turn around now and they turn around and go, "There's nothing to do." It's like, tough. If you can't find anything to do, go home. That's what I did. Yeah. There was fuck all that. I went home. Yeah. I played my Mega Drive. I played my Atari.
I honestly just hope that
assuming their parents want them back in the house, that is.
Yeah, but I honestly
teach these kids how to read.
Then enjoy some Shakespeare's
read,
works.
Speak, and dress. Anyone that wears their trousers so low that their underwear is showing should be kicked in the balls.
Well, I just
They need to
honestly
be
think-
educated. How about that?
I could lend them a belt.
Oh, you know what I'd like to do? I'd love to grab one of their... I'd like to rob one of them, grab his wallet, pull his trousers down and say, chase me, chase me, chase me.
Well, guys, let's say that, for example, someone from Expo's listening to this. What can we? We're just average con goers, really. I mean, organisers and whatnot. We're all just average con goers. In the day, we're all equal in the eye of the great cosplay god, Man-Fae. But you know, we don't. There's not much we can really do to influence this other than give our opinion. So what can we? Because we're running in the last minute here, roughly, guys. If we can leave a message to MCM staff and maybe say, you know, this isn't the way to do it, maybe a better way. Is there anything we can say to those people?
My message really
They aren't.
be to MCM.
God damn it! I have a message.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
But my
No,
message would be to MCM staff. It would be to the attendees to be responsible, because at the end of the day, it's our actions that influence the decisions that MCM makes.
Okay, Moon, do you
The
want to
thing
say
is,
something? Okay, too bad, Moon.
they
Pete, do you want to say something?
No, let Moon go on. Moon, go on.
Sorry,
Go on.
sorry, Moon.
Go on, Moon.
I'm waiting to say this for about 3 years. Anyway, they aren't. The thing is, they still aren't engaging the con goers enough. I mean, even if it shouldn't be up to us to say, hey, we need to put our stuff together and try and pick it up. It should be up to them to say, hey, we can lower prices or something like that if you mean we can save on our pricing, on our cleaning bills, etc.
Something like, if they ran maybe a volunteer system where you volunteer to pick up one evening and you get a tenner off your ticket for the day. A lot of people would volunteer.
You can
win a
game.
For that.
Win a game for your console or something.
To-
or a piece.
I get that, but
Yeah,
to
you
be
get
honest, at the same time, they shouldn't have to bribe people.
Yeah, they really shouldn't.
They shouldn't have to bribe people, but people do generally respond better to bribery than to
True.
having their privileges taken
But
away.
one thing I will say though is, despite what you're saying, like, oh, the con's not doing enough, I think the con's actually doing enough as it is, because
Yeah,
a
they
lot
are,
of the
I think
people
so.
that you see working at the cons that have, like, you know, the Expo shirts on and they're working inside the con, they're not paid. That's all
They're volunteers.
It's all the
Yeah.
only people that are paid, you know, like the big security guards do with like the jackets, the high vis, and all that stuff on. They're paid.
Yeah.
They have people that have SIA badges, which I have, that work there for free. They just do it because they do it for free. And what they get out of it is they get a pass, they can go in and out, but they're working. Yeah, they'll get a lunch break and they say go and look
We've gotta wrap
around
this up,
and buy
Pete.
some stuff or whatever. But
Yeah, I've volunteered at cons before. You don't
it's
get
a lot
much
of-
time off.
yeah, a lot of it's all volunteer work. So whereas people are saying, oh, they're not doing much, it's like they're doing a lot because the people you see working aren't being paid. So at the end of the day, you can only expect someone to give so much of their time for working. I've done some jobs where I've worked for nothing,
Pete, we got to wrap it up.
and you can't. I'm just saying, you can't just expect people to just, you know,
There's a limit to what people will
yeah,
do for free.
you can't just enforce. To be honest, it's the people that cause the mess. They should pick it up. I know they're not, but if people are going to enforce this black bag thing, that are cosplayers going around picking up the, you know, the things, good on them. But to be honest, the people that are doing it, I think, should be named, but in a good way, on the fact of these people are picking up your shit. You should thank them.
The one other thing I would suggest is that we can self-police. Pete, you've said that what you do is you go up to people, you say put that in the bin, you say stop climbing on the statue.
Yeah.
I think if more of us, especially us older lot, us that are past our 20s and thus we're peers but we're superiors in a way, we might have a bit more influence over the younger, the madder congoers than just the security staff. So we can
think-
say stuff and they might listen a bit more. So we do need to step in more
I think
ourselves.
with me, what it is I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but you can tell. I like when I want to have a deep voice or sound like, you know, authoritative. I can, because obviously I'm a security guard, so I can get into. I basically have a stance and a way I talk and the way basically just how. If you basically stand, basically, so you look like you're sort of meaning business. You have a stance, and then you have a way you look at someone and the way you speak to them. They look at it and they take it with okay, and they do it because it's like an authority figure talking to them.
I've
So-
got none of those things, but I know I can ask people nicely, and they will listen to me and do what I tell them.
Well, I
Because
will,
I've asked them nicely,
If
but
I can-
I will ask nicely 3 times. Third
I
time,
never need to ask a third time.
you're a woman. You have tits.
Oh,
I
yes.
also have manners.
Sorry.
Yeah, unlike someone, Pete. But let's let's wrap this up. I think it's
Alright.
we've passed the half-hour limit, so I'll do a bit of creative editing.
Cool.
But I would just want to say to community of Expo, just take in what we're saying, and please let's make MCM better. You know, so we can enjoy it better. You know, more. You know, I don't want to be treated like kids, but this is how it is, and I kind of understand why they've put a curfew in. But like I say, this is all for public consumption. Please leave your opinions. Is something funny? Okay. Well, this is all for public consumption, and you know, we want some opinions, and who knows, maybe just maybe we'll make some change in MCM. So.
What I'll say to quit with this is obviously this is going to go onto my channel. But if anyone wishes to leave any messages to any of the people that are obviously in this chat,
Including
just,
hate mail.
Including hate mail, just put it in to obviously my messages. I can tell them they've got a message. If it's going to be something that's disrespectful or horrible, I just won't pass it on to them, and you'll just have to deal with me. And the people that watch my videos, the people that watch my videos and the people that know me will know they do not want to deal with me.
Anyway, so I think that about wraps it up. So yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you to Pete for letting us use his channel. Thanks for everyone coming to discuss this in a rather short amount of time. But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to Pete because he likes subscribers.
I can do this.
And all right, thanks for watching, guys.
PR to